Did you think we are done with Pirate Software, aka Maldivius Fig Tree? Oh no, no, no. We are not even close to being done with him. Because when you are such a degenerate liar like Thor, there is so much to dig up. And today, his lies about EVE Online, because if you haven't figured out what this guy does, he tries to scrub his past. He has had a presence in multiple games, multiple communities over the years, and in every single community, he ends up being hated. He ends up controlling a massive zerg of people, and then he ends up using them as report bots to harass people, and many, many such and similar things. It is quite crazy. The only amazing fact about this guy is, at the end of the day, the fact that this all didn't come to light sooner. The fact that so many communities have been damaged by him, but no one really has talked about him until this point where he was in World of Warcraft and he was up against more other creators, which is wild.
Biggest creators in all of creatordom has been lying about something to do with EVE Online. And I have firsthand knowledge to tell you what that lie is and what actually happened. I am talking, of course, about someone you might recognize. Yep, this is Pirate Software, also known to the EVE community as Maldavius. Okay, we're going to talk about what's happened, what actually happened, and why this kind of stuff hurts the majority of EVE players, this kind of lies being said and purported. We're going to talk about it, okay?
By the way, you know what's the funniest thing about the fact how actually dumb this guy is? It's the fact that he legitimately has tried to scrub his past from the internet, aka being Maldivius Fig Tree and all of these other usernames, but he goes and uses these names again. So anyone who just randomly decides to Google his usernames in games, they find his past. He tried so hard to hide it, and yet he's too stupid to make another username. That is insane.
So we were Triglavians, triangle people, right? Aliens. And this is a faction inside of the game. We decided as players to align ourselves with this, and we moved all over the game for about 1 year, traveling around with no home, going and fighting this war that went on to turn certain areas of space into lawless land, right? And we went all over the place. We took all these different stars, and it was fun. It was super awesome.
By the way, if you don't know what EVE is, what he probably currently is saying is not even that much of a lie, because EVE is kind of the wild, wild west where thousands of people get together and form effectively Americas all over the place. It was pretty funny.
Awesome, but we didn't really have a home. We never had a place to live, and having ownership over your space in EVE is kind of a big deal. So when we got...
So if you don't know what the heck he's talking about, if you're a brand new EVE player, he's talking about the founding of Pochven. He's talking about the founding of the Triglavian area in space. These star systems used to be in high sec. I think there was maybe one in low sec. I don't remember. It's been a long time. It's been a couple years. These systems were basically in flux between becoming Pochven or not, and the players could choose which ones would go into Pochven, roughly speaking, by fighting for the Triglavian, aligning themselves with the Triglavian collective, with that side, that reputation, okay? The star systems ended up becoming Pochven, and that's this triangle. And we say it's a triangle because there's a lot of, like, triangle stuff to do with Pochven. A lot of their reactors, their, like, little mini suns are housed in, like, a triangle matrix. What's the thing from Avengers? You know what I'm...
Yeah, as you can see, EVE is pretty wild. But don't worry, don't worry. I don't play EVE, but I have had an interest in EVE and its stories and lore, because there's a lot of it and it's all player-made. I probably will be able to explain in human language what the hell is going on if you don't understand. But effectively, 2 NPC sides that you can choose to fight for. Winner gets to own star systems.
I'm talking about Tesseract. It's housed in like a triangle Tesseract, stuff like that. The literal star system is in the shape of a triangle. That's why some of you watching are like, "Bro, what's up with all the triangles, bro?" You know, this is just part of the lore. That's that. So this is about the founding of Pochven. This Pirate Software guy is Maldavius. That's his character name in the game, and he and many other people fought for the founding of Pochven. Let's keep listening.
Got 27 stars. those stars formed into a place in space, a pocket dimension called Pochven that looked like this. And we owned a full third of this, because as we had been taking these stars, we were dropping structures in them. And when it moved into Pochven, those structures stayed, and now they couldn't be replaced. If a structure gets destroyed in Pochven, it never comes back. You can never...
This is unique to Pochven. Okay, this is a unique thing to Pochven. It's very important because this is literally why the entire thing we're about to listen to happened. They were placing structures in these star systems before they went into Pochven, before they like regressed into this like subsystem area into Pochven itself, right? We're placing structures, we're doing these things, and once it becomes Pochven, you can't place any more structures. This is a rule in Pochven. It's one of the things that makes the area unique and different from, say, nullsec or even wormhole space, because Pochven, you can't place structures. This is a big deal. If we have non-Eve players doing this, placing structures gives you not just a foothold, it doesn't just give you staging or a foothold. It is a massive deal because it gives your entire corp a place to be. There's more stuff you can do. You can dictate tax rates. There's a lot of things you can do from a player-owned station comparatively to an NPC-owned station that anybody can just come in. You can even set who can dock in the station if you own it, if your Corp Alliance owns it. So if we have non-E players watching this, a Corp is a guild, and an Alliance is a group of corporations, a group of guilds. An Alliance is a big thing, a Corp is a smaller thing, still big.
So, if you have seen the Eve meme about, trying to join an Eve Alliance, and you literally need to take a real-life physical test and a mental aptitude test, and mail your results to the Alliance leader. Not a meme. Not an actual meme. Considering you can also convert Eve money to real money. I don't remember if it's an official thing, but people do that. It's possible. So, yeah, a lot of things happen in Eve. It's pretty wild. If Eve had 1 million players, every single day you would hear news about some kind of Omega giant backstab, betrayal, or nations falling. Oh man, if Eve was larger, it would be so hilarious.
Big, depending on what we're talking about, okay? So,
Anchor a new one, it's gone. So these were unique, and we were the powerhouse that owned that space. The problem was this: it didn't work. It was broken. When we got to that section of space, they had one piece of content. This was called a dread site raid. The dread sites, for the first 2 or 3 months, did not function. Imagine going into a raid with 15 people, and you kill the boss, and then afterwards, the boss gives you negative reputation and negative money. That's what happened, and every week we would talk to the devs, and every week they would try to get us to test it on live servers again with our...
Okay, so first thing, this is correct. This is what happened. When Pochven became its own thing, when the star systems in HiSec went to Pochven, when Pochven was established, the dread sites he's talking about, which would become / whatever, are the observatory flashpoints today, and other similar sites, whatever. These sites were broken.
It's just a new raid that's broken and for some reason gives you negative rewards for doing it. And that's it.
They would not function correctly. The NPCs were weird. You would get negative rep. This is a big...
Also, see, this is one of the reasons why it's so hard for people to get in Eve. Because, yeah, it's like, this could all be explained so much easier, but it's not.
Big deal. You might say negative rep, who cares? Because you see that this is all these star systems. Imagine all of these are little dots that make up this triangle-shaped star system. The gates, you couldn't activate the star gates unless you had a certain reputation. So the sites in the area would stop you from navigating around the area. This was not intended. This was not like a part of the game. That's too that would be too tedious, and that was not part of the game. Okay, so everything he's saying is correct so far. The first thing I want to talk about is something he ended with just now.
Negative reputation and negative money. That's what happened. And every week we would talk to the devs, and every week they would try to get us to test it on live servers again with our live characters for 2.5 to 3 months. We lost 70% of our online players.
I'm going to get to the 70% number in just a sec. So the devs...
I have slightly heard about this, and as much as I understand... Oh, there's a big lie somewhere here.
Did work.
But what did you expect, honestly, from Pirate Software in the first place, okay? If you don't expect this guy to lie, you have not been paying attention. Because, again, Ghost plays a game, creates a Zerg of idiots, because, honestly, at this point, it's really questionable. Like, Pirate Software has somehow amassed the stupidest following possible. I mean, the average, well, not everyone, obviously, but the average Pirate Software fan who is determined enough to actually, like, comment or say something is like somehow 3 times dumber than the Asmongold fan. And keep in mind, the average Asmongold fanboy fucking peaked in McDonald's scrubbing toilets. But this guy somehow has a worse audience of super fanboys. It's kind of insane. It's kind of really insane.
Work with players to try to help see what the problem was. I want you to, this is my first issue with this video. I want you to see how he's describing this. There's a lot of bitterness. There's a lot of, I'm going to call it entitlement for some of the stuff he says later in the video. This is my first problem with this. I understand it's frustrating. This is frustrating. We're going to say this a bunch of times in this video. You work really hard to establish an area of space. Areas in space that have these, you know, the devs made us test it live. That's a good thing that the devs actually gave a crap to sit down and work with you in some extent instead of.
That's actually so wild that the devs made. By the way, the idea that the devs made you test it live is so stupid because, wait, you're telling me the devs don't actually have an offline fucking version of the game that they can just test stuff in? That's crazy.
Like just giving you a stiff arm and not talking to you at all. So it's better than having no communication. That's my first point here. So let's keep, this is not why I wanted to make this video. Let's keep talking. Okay.
There's for 2.5 to 3 months. We lost 70% of our online players. About half of these people never came back. It was a goddamn mess. And we got pissed. And eventually they finally fixed it, but then they put a target on our back.
Yeah, and before we get to the target, and before we get to, you know, this happened too. 70% of the players quit. Of course they did. Look, chat, if you work for months to establish an area of space, you know EVE is about the stories, okay? EVE is about the player-driven stories. It's not the devs necessarily giving the overarching narrative. It's one of the things that makes EVE Online unique and special. I don't know if this number is accurate, but I can tell you that I believe this number. I believe this number because this is frickin' ridiculous. It is. Here's my first big point. 70% of the players quit. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're playing a video game, and this is a video game, EVE Online, and this, even if you work for a couple months to like establish something, if the sites are broken, submit a bug report and go to a different area of space. Okay? I just said.
This is also kind of bad for EVE players because, yeah, this is not normal behavior. Oh, game's broken? Well, just kind of ignore it. What? Also, the way that the game is broken is just it gives you negative rewards and experience and reputation and whatnot. I'm sorry, is that really a hard bug to fix? Yeah, it seems like that would not be the case. Seems like a very easy bug to fix. There's probably a plus or something fucking wrong somewhere, okay? How is this, of all things, unholy hard to fix?
Something that's very unpopular with a lot of EVE players. There's this, I fought for this. I worked for this. I'm going to make this work even if it's broken. Ladies and gentlemen, we are discussing a video game. Okay? I care about all of you watching, both live and on.
Oh boy, that is pretty bad. Oof.
1 month after they fixed our area of space. So imagine 3 months of the game just being shit and us being broken, nothing working. And then 1 month later, they release an economic report after they fix everything. And now everyone thinks we've been making a shitload of money in a pocket of space that no one can touch us in. Yeah, and no other player will believe you because it's EVE Online. So yeah, that sucked. So that.
Okay. The monthly economic report, the MER, is something that happens. CCP Games did not include, it sounds like based on his story, CCP Games the devs did not include Pochven in the MER prior to them fixing it, or when they included it in there, I don't remember, I haven't found it, it's been years. The income in the area was so low, no one was looking at it. This MER is looked at by a lot, if not all, of the top corps, top alliances, because it shows where the ISK is in the game. We literally just covered last month's MER, thanks to Oz, thanks very much Oz, over on our Patreon, okay? Because it's a long video, it's kind of droll, it's not the best for YouTube, so I made sure to give you the best value over on our Patreon. That's what we do. This Listen to what he says. They fix Pochven. They include it in the MER, in the ER, in the economic report. I'm going to call it the MER. People then see there's a lot of money to be made, so this put a target on our back. Do you hear the entitlement here? I understand you worked hard to make this happen. But just because you worked hard to make something happen, you, ladies and gentlemen, here's my first big point here. You are entitled to nothing in EVE Online. Nothing. I don't care how.
This is true in every game. You are entitled to absolutely nothing in any game, okay? You may have bought it. You may pay a monthly subscription for it. But at the end of the day, honestly, we all know how life works, okay? We know it's wrong that we buy something and it doesn't give us the value that we want. We don't like to pay a membership fee every goddamn month. Speaking of which, my membership fee on World of Warcraft is still active. I have no idea why, and I don't see Blizzard removing money from my, bank account. So, the hell is happening there?
How much you've done. I don't care how hard you've worked. I don't care how long you've played the game. I've been playing since 2008, on and off. You are entitled to nothing. You have to keep fighting tooth and claw to get your stuff. That is the nature of the beast. It is one of the main things that makes the game special, that you can't do it alone. So you are forced to.
And by the way, this probably sounds a little bit harsh because yes, the devs kind of screwed them over, but at the same time, I mean, this guy is completely right. In EVE Online, you're supposed to actually expect stuff like this to happen. If you're having a good time, and if you're making a lot of money and whatnot there, people are going to look at you and say like, hey, how about the 2 or 3 of us will ally and destroy this guy and take it for ourselves. That's literally how these things happen, okay? So, he is... I understand the feeling that it sucks because it probably does. Well, it definitely sucks that you have been gaining nothing and now suddenly it's fixed and now you have a target on your back. But at the same time, you needed to expect this to happen. Effectively, what he is kind of saying here, what Pirate Software is doing here, is just doing his classic "I'm not a human" thing. Okay, he's like, oh, we worked for this. And now other people are gonna try and take it away from us? No, this should belong to us forever because I'm Pirate Software. I deserve things. That's what he's being entitled for. Okay, those guys, I don't think he's explaining it good enough. But yes, he's currently in reality just being pissed about the fact that, oh, wait a minute, other people are gonna want and take our thing away from us. Hey, you chose to play this, you played it for years, you understood how the situation works, what happens, and blah, blah, blah. And, well, you failed. You messed up. And yet again, you're taking no responsibility and blaming it all on the devs. Sure, you can blame the devs for not fixing it in time. Sure, you can blame the devs for telling you to test it on live, which is stupid. You could have just told the devs, no, fuck you. I am not testing it on live. You are gonna test it. You are gonna do it yourself or whatever, and then tell us, does it work? Because until it works, whatever. But no, he chose to not do that, idiot.
Then to group up with people and get allegiances, get alliances, get friends. As the CEO of CCP Games says, the best ship is the friend ship. And through adversity, you get these groups together, you get these people. If the entire game...
And then 5 minutes later, that you have achieved your objective, you backstab each other. Again, EVE should be a 1 million player game, but it sadly is not. The stories would be amazing.
Sees that Pochven is now fixed and there's a bunch of is to be made. That does not mean that the devs are painting a target on your back. See what I'm saying? See the spirit of this. This is not what happened. If the MER comes out and a scary, so funny, that's good. That's why we're talking about this.
And now everyone thinks we've been making a shitload of money in a pocket of space that no one can touch us in? Yeah, and no other player will believe you because it's EVE Online. So, yeah, that sucked. So that was cool to see. And the devs never actually put out a statement about this. They never told anyone that it was broken, so everyone thought we were lying about it, but we weren't, which was cool. So after that economic report came out, we're like...
Should the devs have put out a statement about that? Sure.
Probably.
And again, we're believing his word that they said nothing about it. I don't know if that's the case. I'd have to go through every single...
And by the way, yeah, that's a quick side note. Again, this guy lies about everything. This guy takes zero accountability. This guy takes zero credibility for literally anything. Anything! So, the fact that he is not lying somewhere here, sus. Unbelievable.
News put out by the devs for that many year period, I don't care enough, quite frankly. Here's the reality. The devs don't have to do anything. Okay? They don't have to put out a statement that it's broken. They don't have to do anything. If this area is broken, the players are going to find that out. The players are going to talk about it. And then the players don't have to be in that area because there's a near infinite amount of expanse you can go and do content in EVE Online. Okay? This is just... Is it frustrating? Yes. We're going to keep saying it this video. It's very frustrating to fight for an area of space than have it be broken. But the entire sudden...
Christ, we started having to fight battles and it was super annoying, but we got good at it. We managed to close all the...
I wanna... Okay. We got it.
This seems like a blatant lie of Thor saying that, oh, we got good at battling. No. That sounds like complete bull. And you know why that sounds like complete bull? Because in every game, he just makes a Zerg, and it's a bad Zerg, and he doesn't control it at all. Like, again, look at Ashes of Creation. He has a massive alliance. He has the number superiority, but he is kind of getting crushed by other smaller guilds just because his players are useless trash. And, well, he himself is obviously useless trash.
Who
pulled the Oculus?
Rewind that.
About it, but we weren't, which was cool. So after that economic report came out, we're like, Jesus Christ, we started having to fight battles and it was super annoying, but we got good at it. We managed.
After the economic report, we had to start fighting battles, and that was annoying. We're going to talk more about that in just a sec. Just put a pin note in that. We're gonna talk more
to close all the wormholes in our area of space, because wormholes would open up at random. We could stop people from coming in, and the only other way you could get in was through a filament. Well, every one of these systems that was on our side of space and all around Pochven would require a certain amount of reputation to get through the gate. If you didn't have the reputation, you couldn't get in, right? So you had to use a filament that would teleport you into one of these locations randomly. So you could show up on our store, like on our doorstep, or you could show up in an area where you couldn't get to us. And that was it. And if we controlled our wormholes, you couldn't get to us anyway, so we had a good counterplay. But we had to constantly maintain this sort of behavior. Every day, we had groups. On the minute that wormhole would spawn, we would roll the wormhole. And this meant absolute regimented behavior. At all times, we had to be on staff. At all times, we had to have a scanner there and a group ready to destroy that wormhole when it spawned. And if we didn't do it, people would get in and kill us. So we got...
Did what you just...
Is that not true, by the way? Because there are wilder EVE stories than that. For example, wars that literally take months of sieging.
EVE players in chat, did what you just heard, does that describe endgame EVE Online life for nullsec, for some lowsec, and especially wormhole space? Did what he just described, having to defend your borders from people that are coming in to take the ISK areas? Rifter, am I right, dude? Okay. First of all, he's correct. Once Pochven was once Pochven was made, the only ways to get into Pochven was two ways. Was the wormholes that would randomly blip in and out of existence. Think of these as opening and closing doors if you're a non-EVE player. Imagine a house, imagine a triangle-shaped house, and every day certain doors would be open and certain doors would be closed. And if you would put enough people through that door, the door would close. That's called rolling the wormhole. If enough mass goes through the wormhole closes. So what he's saying is that once the MER came out, people started paying attention because there's a bunch of IS to be made in another endgame area, and we had to PvP fight, and we had to defend our borders. Ladies and gentlemen, the spirit he's painting EVE in is a very negative one, and this is my first main problem with this. In EVE Online, you don't deserve and are entitled to nothing, and if you want an area of space, you're going to have to defend it from people that want to take it. That's the game. Look, if you want to play an RTS with your buddies where you control your borders and you mess with stuff, You can go play.
Which is the next 3 months. We're like, oh shit, they're gonna fix some stuff. This is gonna be awesome, right? Well, they didn't. They said the first thing we're gonna work on is the access to the region. And we were like, that might be...
At the time of this, when all this was happening, this guy was a CSM. What that means is CSM is a Council of Stellar Management, something like that. These are players that the players elect to become representatives to the devs, to CCP Games. He was a CSM at the time. Character name is Maldavius. You can go look this up, okay? He pushed for more access to the region. Did you hear what I just said? He pushed as a CSM that lives in Pochven for more access to the region. And in this video, he's saying...
I mean, he is an idiot. That is actually 100% true.
The developers of CCP Games increase the access. I don't understand. If I ask for cheaper bananas from the grocery store and then they give it to me.
Okay, so yeah, again, this is just classic Pirate Software behavior, effectively. He wants one thing because he thinks it's good, but in reality, it's fucking bad for him. It's really actually bad for him, and it's gonna be terrible. But at the moment, he thinks it's good, and so he has the access to ask the devs to do that, and devs are like, yeah, actually, you know what, sure, let's do this. Why not? Okay, and then they do it, the thing he asked, and then he's like, what did you do? This is actually really bad for me. Yeah, it is really bad for you, dumbass. But you asked for it. No. I didn't want bad things to happen. I wanted only good things. You are at fault. Okay, so he asked the devs to do X. The devs actually do X, which is surprising, right? I know. And then he gets mad because it's not his fault that he asked for something stupid, and it's the devs' fault for making him sad. Again, it's just the no accountability thing dialed up to almost 11 here. Imagine demanding something from the devs actually do it, and then you're pissed because you're stupid and you didn't figure out that what you're asking is actually going to hurt you, and then you blame the devs. It is insanity.
And I complain about the banana. What do you want? I don't understand. So what he's going to say is they removed the rep requirements for these gates, which is not necessarily something he exactly pushed for, but he pushed for increased access to the area. So I don't know why this is, again, look at the spirit of what he's like describing. It's a negative thing. CCP Games, the creators of EVE Online, didn't fix anything. They just made it easier to get in. If you know anything about EVE Online, the more people can get into an area of space, the more activity, the more people to fight, is a good thing.
Requirement on our gates. That was it.
All right, let me rewind so we can tell the full sentence. Okay.
Cool. Yeah, they just removed the reputation requirement on our gates. That was it. Suddenly, anyone in the game, anywhere in space, at any time, could teleport to our home. EVE Online is a game about distance. If you are far away from your opponent, they have inherent defensive capability because it's hard to get to them. We had no defense anymore. At all.
Actually, that's completely not true. But again, this is just him being an idiot. He talks about a lot of things that he doesn't understand, like he's an expert. Okay, so there is a defensive factor in having distance. If you are here, your opponent is here, and that takes a long time to actually go to each other. The defending side has an advantage, and that advantage is nothing that he just mentioned. The side of this defensive advantage of being at a huge distance of each other is the fact that your opponent needs to take time for them to get there. AKA, if they attack you, your reinforcements are literally there, one step away, while your opponent's reinforcements need a lot of time to actually get there. And that is a significant advantage. That is the advantage. Not whatever dumbassery he is saying here.
You have a defense, it's called players. I don't know how much this guy played EVE before. I actually don't know. Right, General Pony, you know? He's right, by the way, about this, that a natural defense is distance. But all of a sudden, people can get, right, our gates. You hear that, Jack? You see what's coming out, right? And views, okay? 1 million views. This is a lot of people's only view of what EVE Online is. And he's describing it as an administrative nightmare, as a unfun experience.
I mean, it is an administrative nightmare as far as I know. And I mean, not everyone can be a leader in EVE.
When he chose to stay in the bugged area, when he didn't be a good leader and lead his people out of area of space, and complains about basics in the game, player versus player action. Goodness gracious, dude.
Oh, people could just teleport to us and kill us at any time. And we went, well, time to have a war. And we had a war every single day for the next 2 months. Now,
like the rest of EVE Online.
Yeah. Definitely what I said before. Oh, literally months-long sieges? Doesn't sound that strange now, does it? Yeah. Again, EVE would be the most insane thing with 1 million players. Or even, honestly, if it had RuneScape number of players, EVE would be the most insane thing ever, and you would hear countless stories about it every single day.
Like the rest of EVE Online. I don't care if you're in high sec. If you're in high sec, you're still going to have to figure out how to defend your borders from high sec gankers or a specific kind of ganker. Okay, you still have to defend your area. There's ways to do it. So it's a lot of like
Pochven, they fixed the site.
looks like what happened.
you could have 15 people in the group, and if you got the 16 people, that 16th person would make it so that all of the money that dropped, because it's split evenly between people, wouldn't split evenly anymore. It would drop it by about 50% and then split evenly. So it crashed the shit out of our earnings.
He's right. This was an exploit that was found. They fixed the sites in terms of income and rep. And then an exploit came in. And I agree with you to a point, Flea Harvey. Okay, I'm glad you're here, Flea Harvey. Oh. So, ladies and gentlemen, a current CSM for Pochven is in chat. Give me some 07s for Flea. So, I think you've seen that the way he's describing things, and he goes, oh, it's a bitter red fruit. Maybe don't listen to how this guy describes the game.
Okay, I think we got the gist of it. EVE Online is buggy, though, also. Oh, but yeah. Again, Todd is just making bad decisions, one after the other, technically. Even though some of these bad decisions aren't even all purely his fault, but he should have known how to play around these bad decisions, but he doesn't. Because he's a self-centered prick. That's effectively all that there is to this situation. And yeah, that's his EVE Online story. I'm pretty sure there's going to come out more stuff about him, because people are constantly saying that he just had a Zerg, which seems to be true, by the way, but, you know, interesting. Anyway, that was Oloru Gaming 10 out of 10. Bye!